This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming at you with another video. And what I want to discuss is when you prepare to do things in your way and to work on yourself to becoming the best version of yourself, you have to prepare yourself mentally for the struggles that come along with it. Now, I made a choice 5 years ago that I wasn't going to take what was being forced upon me by those within my community, those within my society, and that I was going to do things to the best of my ability the way that I want to do it. And with every choice that you make, there's rewards and there's consequences. And I've been struggling with one of the consequences recently because life can be challenging. And when you're going through a hard time and you have nobody to really talk to, nobody to really count on, to really be there for you, have them in your presence because they don't want to be associated with you because you decided to do things in your way. So their way of punishing you is to isolate you. That's the risk that comes along with this of what it is that we do. You know, because they want to make it seem as though you had the opportunity to do things their way, and so you had to suffer. And honestly, I understand that because you do have to suffer. Like, you cannot get around suffering regardless of what it is that you choose in life. If you make a choice that you don't want to make, but you're like, well, this is the only option that I see that's available, and even though I don't like it, I'm just going to choose it, you're going to suffer. So, suffering, we have to get out of our heads that we're not going to suffer. And you're going to have people that try to shame you because of the type of suffering that you're going through. It's different from what the majority of individuals out here that go along to get along goes through, but everybody is suffering in their own way. And that's something that we have to just come to grips with and come to terms with. We have to ask ourselves, are we willing to pay the price of what it is that we want to do? Are we willing to go through a form of suffering where we don't have people around us, where we have to suffer by ourselves? And it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you that it's hard. I'm not here to complain or to whine or to look for sympathy. I'm here to express myself and to allow other people to see of what experience that I'm going through. So if they want to choose to go in this direction, this path that I'm on, they have to understand that it comes with consequences as well. Like the loneliness and the isolation I feel sometimes can be overbearing, especially when certain things happen in my life that's very traumatic or depressing. I have to deal with that stuff by myself. And as men, we have to deal with that stuff by ourselves 9 times out of 10 anyway. Even if we're in a relationship and we're going through a hard time and we try to express ourselves to the woman that we're supposed to be with, all she's going to do is just shame us and say, oh, you're acting weak and you need to just do what it is that you need to do and deal with it. Pray to God and get over it and focus on your family. That's how it is that they treat us. They treat us like we're machines because in society, that's what we are supposed to be as far as the way that it's structured. If you're not a wealthy and powerful man and you're an average man, you're treated like a machine. And now that there's a lack of wars and things like that going on, and people not, it's the violence, even though it's bad, it's not as bad as what it was in the past. So more people are living. We got better health now than we did in prior years. So people are living longer. And I understand that the way things happened in the past is that, you know, the men that were seen as disposable, um, they would die off at an early age. And it's not happening as often as it used to. So now you have a group of men that's living longer, that's seeing what's going on in society, and they've decided to go against what it is that's going on in society. And those people still have those old ways of thinking, and they want to see us eliminated. And so they can't just up and eliminate us. So the best thing they could do is create cancel culture, create isolation, create other things that can stifle a person, that can make a person more depressed, you know. And you have these simps that go along with it because they go along to get along. And then they make statements saying that the male loneliness epidemic isn't your problem to solve, it's their problem to solve. And then if we solve it in the way that's best for us, we're still going to be labeled as bad people. So with that being said, you know, this is what you have to deal with when you step on this side of the platform. You know what I'm saying? This is what you have to deal with. You have to deal with the isolation. You have to deal with the rejection. You got to deal with people that you thought were real close to you separating from you. You got to deal with people looking at you as somebody to use just so they can get better in their life. You got to deal with people pretending to like you or love you just to see what they can get out of you. And that's not just here, that's overseas. You have to deal with the depression. You have to deal with the loneliness. You have to deal with everybody seeming like they're ganging up on you because you chose to live a certain lifestyle. And it's going to be hard. You know, it's going to be hard to interact with individuals. It's going to be hard to go to a job where you know the whispers and the rumors go on. It's going to be hard to deal with that stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to deal with it. And the reason why you have to deal with it is because that's a part of life. Life is suffering. You're going to suffer in life. You're going to have good times in life. And I'm not saying that it's all bad. You're going to have your moments where everything is going great and you're enjoying it. But then you have to also prepare yourself for times when it's not going to be that way. And that's the reality of what we are living in. You know, like you have women that's mad at men because they're single, but they wouldn't choose those men that they're angry with, but they're really angry at the men that they want that don't want them. And you have men that have that same type of idea, but then you have people, men and women, that's thinking like me, that's taking accountability, trying to improve themselves, trying to overcome the situation, but they still face a lot of rejection and anger because this isn't how we want you to solve the issue. We want you to solve it the way that we want you to solve it because we're right and you're not. That's the ideas that's floating around. And you have to deal with this unspoken rejection, this unspoken isolation, because they're not going to up and tell you what it is that you're being isolated for. They know that you understand and that you need to figure it out if you haven't on your own because they want you to do things their way. And they know why you're not doing it their way. And they understand that doing it their way isn't the best benefit for you. But they don't care about that. They care about being right and you doing it their way. And if you don't do it their way, they want to make you suffer. So you have to be prepared to suffer for this. You have to be prepared to be alone. You have to be prepared to grind on your own. You have to be prepared to fix yourself, heal yourself, and do all the things that you need to do by yourself. And it's an easy no. I'm struggling right now, and I'm being honest and transparent and letting you know that it's a struggle. But when I look at the other alternatives to that, I have to ask myself, am I willing to deal with those alternatives? So with that being said, this is Just Bob Bowman. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'm out.